Okay. I do not know how to add people. Hold on. Oh, okay. I don't know how to. Wait, how do I put a girl? I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to. Okay. Hi. I don't know how to add people, but I'm trying. Oh, wait. Oh.
Hola, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
1 second, mommy. Let me turn this off. Okay. Can you say something? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, that's perfect.
You hear me? Okay, cool. Okay. How you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Good. I'm doing great. This is like
Yay.
my first ever live, so
Oh, really?
yeah, it's like every.
Oh, I popped a cherry live.
Yeah. So, let me turn you up. Hold on. All right. So, I actually came across your page. Like, I had ate some salmon the day before, and I think you just commented on some funny meme or something like that, and something just told me to click on your page. And it was, I just saw you did business credit at first, and then I was just like scrolling down your page, and then like I saw you were ex-vegan. I'm like, that's wow, you know what I'm saying? So I just looked at some of your videos, and I'm like, I never even thought of researching that end of the spectrum. You know? Like I was just only like the good stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be healing and all that good stuff. So it was so interesting to actually like, see somebody who was vegan for what, 5 years? You were vegan for
Actually, it was a total of like 6 years.
6 years? Okay. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. So she was in for a minute reverted back. So I just wanted to get your perspective. I see that you are trying to get people away from going that route. I definitely saw that you have a book that was speaking. You were speaking about how like veganism is business, and I always thought about that. I'm like, some of these people are just good at they're great marketers. You know what I'm saying? Like they're marketers. And there's a lot of money into that. So I just want to hear your perspective, and yeah, just to let me know a little bit about your journey. When did you get vegan? Decide to convert back over? Why did you decide to convert back over and all that good stuff?
Okay, of course. No problem. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jonnelle Maria, and I do teach business credit to entrepreneurs. I help them build their business credit so they can leverage it and finance their business. And I also teach self-care on the weekends. The reason I'm able to teach self-care on the weekends is because I still practice biomechanics. However, I was a biomechanics trainer for over 7 years. So basically, when people had scoliosis, when they had issues, just to be better performance athletes, they would come and see me. I trained NBA, MLS, LFL. I've trained NFL. I've trained a lot of different athletes at really high levels. Basically, I'm your trainer's trainer. So that was my credential as far as the health aspect. And I like to talk about that because now I focus on business credit and health. However, I don't offer health services in that way. But some people, they don't know me from when I was vegan and I was training and I was doing all of that. They just know me from, they just know me about money and business now.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give that little intro for a second. So you said how long? I was vegan for 6 years. And what made me go vegan, being an entrepreneur. You know, you're an entrepreneur, and you're like, okay, I choose to do the best for myself. You know what I mean?
And at
You're,
first, it feels good mentally. At first,
it does. It
yeah.
feels really great mentally because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're watching like motivational videos, and what do they say? Oh, you need to have your health right. You need to
Yeah.
have like these 7 areas of your life together, and health is one of those things. Also, too, I went to school for pre med, so I went 4 years into Valdosta State University for pre med. So I'm not like, you know, I'm
Right.
well vetted. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I was in school, and I was just like, I didn't want to do pills and give people pills. I did want to take the holistic natural approach, because on my father's side, I'm Geechee. I'm Gullah Geechee. So you say you too?
I know. I said that's dope. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So on my father's side, I'm Gullah Geechee. On my mother's side, I'm Cuban. So, you know, I was raised growing my own food, fishing, you know, that type of thing. So I was raised with herbs, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I wasn't really raised with a lot of pills and stuff like that. So I wanted to keep that consistent in my life. And I was just like, I need to find more natural ways to be healthier. And that, on top of being an entrepreneur, I started to I, I started to research natural remedies, how to heal stuff, and then boom, I found YouTube. You know,
Yeah.
I found YouTube. You know what I mean? And then finding YouTube led me down this road of like, so just as melanated people, as quote unquote Black people, right? Like, we already know the healthcare system is against us in many different ways. We know these things,
Yeah.
you know. So we're always looking for something that's like, well, let's get back to what we were doing before. And so that coupled with me like being like, okay, I want to be my best health, I started finding people on YouTube like Dr. Lila Africa. I didn't really listen too much to Dr. Sabi. I maybe listened to 1 or 2 videos, but not a lot. Dr. Jewel Pulcrum, Dr. Aris Latam, you know, all of these people. What is the woman's name? She did Sacred Woman, Queen Afua. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't follow her, but I did listen to a few things that she said. But just that whole community.
Right.
And what do they say? Oh, you know, we were Africans, and we didn't eat meat back then. You know, our ancestors didn't eat meat, and so if you want to vibrate on your highest level,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to be my best self, stop
Exactly.
eating meat. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? That's how they get you. And so,
Yeah.
you know, so you're like, okay, I want to vibrate on the highest level. I am seeing people in my family getting diseases. I am seeing people, you know, going down this path of being unhealthy. I am seeing this stuff. So
Even like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
no,
off.
please do.
Even like on the other end, you see vegans whose skin is shining, and you see them like, you know what I'm saying. You do see some that are like, they look like they're thriving. So it's like, okay, there's one end where like, okay, these people eating this way, and then I see people eating this complete opposite way, and they look, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I see how that can. That's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah, for me too. And so you're just like into like and I'll touch on that if you can remind me. I'll touch on that too, because when we start to get into like behind veganism, you start to see like the smoke and mirrors uncovered. You know? So yeah, that's what got me into veganism. Just wanted to be my best, just wanted to be healthy, just wanted to take myself to a different level, you know. And also clients, I had my clients, so I was probably one of the only vegan people out there pushing it, like that actually had case studies. I didn't just have customers who bought products from me. Even though I used to press black seed oil from scratch. I used to make detoxes. I used to, like, I did that. I sold those things, and I was making a lot of money with it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so what was your other question? Just kind of like lead me into it, because I don't want to talk to you.
What made you go vegan, and how long you were vegan? 6 years. What was the turning point for you? So when did you decide like, hey, this is probably not the best thing, and it led you to convert back to meat?
Yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting because when you go vegan the first time, you do notice a lot of weight loss.
Yeah.
right? So naturally, I'm about 125, 130. I'm like 120 now since I've started to eat meat again. When I started eating, when I started being vegan, within a year, I had lost like 20 pounds. So I was about 110. And that made me look, I'm 5'2". You know what I mean? So any weight is going to make me either look really big or really small. You know, so I noticed that. And all of my family was just like, again, I'm Geechee. We pretty thick people. All of my family was like, what's going on with you? Are you sick? Like, what's going on? And so also too, I started to go to a lot of vegan events, and I got to know a lot of these vegan celebrity chefs, you know what I mean, who are like the it thing now. But see, like back then, 6 years ago, it wasn't as big as it is now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
pushed it on a whole nother level.
It's on a whole nother level.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah. You know, especially within the Black community specifically, it's on a whole nother level than it was then.
Yeah.
So I started going to these events and I started noticing something. I was like, wait a minute. These people, two things. One, they're not as love light and, all of that as they appear to be online. Mm-hmm. They're actually pretty like mean. You know what I mean? And I didn't have like a celebrity complex or whatever, because I was the freaking celebrity. Like, to be honest, I was the trainer that was vegan, and it was so few of us. My best friend on here now, Karen Boone, she actually literally like made a documentary called The Post-Traumatic Slave Diet. And it was talking about how, and it had, Tassili in it, Dr. Umar, Professor Grip, like all these people. And it had all of us in there talking about how meat is bad and how we didn't eat meat and stuff like that. But I started to go to these events and notice that these people are really mean. Like, they don't really, it's cliquish. You know what I mean? Yeah. If they can't use you, you have no use. Yeah. So then I started to notice too, they didn't know what they were talking about. Okay. You know what I mean? Because I would be like, because I would see them like combining certain foods together, and I would see them just like they just didn't have, they would just regurgitate information. And see, I read all the books. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I literally studied the lectures online, as far as like with Dr. Lila Africa, which is a lot of vegans today. They just use his information and pretend like it's theirs. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I started to see behind the scenes, and I started to notice that they ate meat. They weren't really vegan. They were sneaking fish.
I believe you. That's like, I would say vegans.
They were sneaking fish. And I want people to see my eyes, right? Like,
yeah, and you know what? That's so funny. That's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to just tell the people, I eat fish, okay? Because sometimes be like that, and I'm not, I'm not selling nothing. I just created a blog because I just know that we do have problems in our community. Like,
we do.
Our shit. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language, but they're bad.
No, you do.
It's just like we put an overemphasis on meat, I believe, because it's not meat. It's high fructose corn syrup versus, date syrup or agave or something. It's the salt versus sea salt. It's the, you know what I'm saying? It's the little things that we do that are accumulating to our health. You know what I'm saying? It's the our grandparents used to smoke Newports, a pack of Newports a day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, we all know an old lady who has co-products stacked high in her closet. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a lot of things that's going along that's not just meat. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm happy you said that, because I was just like, I have to tell people I eat meat. I feel so bad. Like, I had ate some meat, and I'm like, I just feel so bad. I just ate this piece of fish. So I'm like, I'm just have to let them know. I eat some. But I believe you, girl. I believe you.
Yeah, no, they literally, it's so, I have the position I have, and then I'm gonna finish up my point on what made me switch. The position I have is very interesting, because it's like, I know a lot of these, and I'm saying that the ones that people be going to these sister circles and all this women healing and all this kind of stuff, they are eating meat. All right. And it's unfortunate, because it's like, if I call out names, then I'm looking like a hater. Then it's like, you know what I mean? People be like, oh, you don't have to do it that way. You can do it this way. And it's like, if I don't say something, you might die. Like, people don't understand. I almost freaking died.
Wow. Okay.
It wasn't like, oh, I just felt so bad. No, I freaking almost died.
Wow. Okay.
So it's like, it's not just, it literally like the reason why I go so hard against it and I named it the vegan trap is because it is a trap. It makes you think that it's something good for you and it's not. And a lot of the people that we are looking at, either they are following it and they look terrible. Look at their collarbones. Look at their body.
It's like a big head, little body type of thing. No, it's like,
yeah,
you're not convincing me here. Like, it's like, it's not doing it. I don't want to look like that. If I don't have to look like that, I don't want it. And it's like, you can get so far deep into it to the point where like you become delusional. Like you're like, you don't even think the other way. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't mm-hmm. yourself and say, hey, this is not right. You know, like, why am I so skinny? Am I supposed to be? And when you get, and you even go to the doctor to check to see if
no,
you know what I'm saying? Like, just because you eat vegetables don't mean it's healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you're not eating the Beyond Meats, even if you're not a junk food vegan or whatever you want to call it, those juicitarians and the raw meat, they look sick. They look sick.
They do.
All right. Yeah. You know, and it's too spectrum. You could look at somebody who is morbidly obese.
Yeah.
Slow down on a few things. And then somebody on the other end is like, you know, you might want to eat a burger or something. You know?
Yeah.
You know, it's just not looking right to me. It just doesn't look right. So,
Yeah, you're right. And so I started to see people, you know, eating meat. And at the time I was like, why y'all so pressed with these people eating meat? And I didn't understand really, because I was like new to the whole vegan community type of thing. I was a trainer. I only cared about the results I could get with my clients. Like the fact that I could help people like correct their scoliosis, like that to me was more important. So, you know, I really didn't care that they was eating meat like that. But I noticed that so many people would be like, yo, you know, so-and-so eating meat. And I'm like, really? They eating fish, they eating burgers. You know, your favorite chef got caught buying ground beef. You know what I mean? But she on all these shows talking about, you know, be alkaline and electric and all this stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, you got caught buying ground beef. You said it's for a client, but why you cooking beef for your client? You know?
Yeah, exactly. If you, all right.
Right. So I started to notice that. And then I started to feel terrible. I was small. I was skinny. My whole goal as a vegan, and I have, you know, I write goals. So I had this for my goal for like 6 years. And it was to get my body back as a vegan. But I could never do it. I could never do it. What really started to alarm me was I stopped when my period stopped.
You know what? People be talking about supposed to have periods.
That's one of the lies. They're like, oh, you're only supposed to have a teaspoon, you know, and it's like, why are we listening to men tell us what our womb is supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
And then the women are just regurgitating that false information, you know? So it's like my period stopped. At first it started to like get really, really light, and then it just stopped. It literally just stopped. And I was like, whoa, that's not good. Like, what is going on, you know? And then after that, like, my teeth started to get sensitive. My skin started to break out in like these patches. I started to get really dry skin. The face, like the fat in my face started to go away. My boobs left. Like everything was just leaving, all the fat, you know?
And it's different too, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it is.
Notice it way more than what a man can notice because they already have more muscles than us anyway, so they might not really see it. That's the boobs go, the ass leaving. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I'm like, wait a minute, this is my money maker. It's like, what are you doing here?
Ain't working. No,
I can't do this. And then my hormones started to go crazy, so I started to notice I felt like a young boy. Is the best way I can describe it, because I didn't feel like warm and feminine and soft and like curvy. I felt hard, like angles in my face, you know what I mean? Like I just looked so like more androgynous. And this is something that you can notice in any vegan that's been vegan for at least over 4 years, that the women start to look very young boyish.
Yeah. And you know what, it's like, it's just like, do you not recognize? It's like you just want to ask them, like, do you think this is okay? Like, and it's the difference between, you know, women who are just naturally skinny and they look like they're supposed to be skinny. You know what I'm saying? So this is the more you look malnourished. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some people who aren't as There's some people, but they just look like they're just supposed to be. Like,
Exactly.
it's still right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is that you develop body dysmorphia because your brain begins to prioritize the little fat that you have left after it started to eat everything in your body because you're not giving it animal fats and cholesterol. Your brain starts to prioritize so that your body and your organs can still function. So one of the first you start to like create this idea of what you used to look like, and you think you still look like that, although
Yeah.
you don't look like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you might think, oh, I just got a little skin. Nah.
Yeah, but
No.
that's not what happened. No, and it's like it's hard for you to see. It's really hard for you to see. I'm saying because I would look in the mirror and my brother would be like, "You are small," and I'm like, "I'm not that small," but
Yeah.
I was.
You look
I
back.
was that small.
It's funny. I had a phase when I was a teenager, and I was a little chunky when I was a little younger. So I had lost a lot of weight, and since I saw me losing weight, I was just like working out a lot, and I wasn't eating at all either too. So I didn't think that I was super skinny. My dad was like, "Are you okay? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Are you hungry? Like, don't starve yourself." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I still felt fat. I still felt I wasn't fat, but you know what I'm saying. I still,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back at the pictures, I was skinny as hell. It
Yeah.
was just crazy. So yeah, that dysmorphia is definitely.
Yeah, it's real. It's one of the first things you develop within a year because you start to starve your body of essential fats.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I started to just have all these like symptoms. Basically, my body was just deteriorating. I literally had to stop training because I didn't even have energy to get out of bed. I started to faint. I started to have faint spells where I couldn't move. My blood sugar was so unstable. Like my hand would just be shaking like that, just because my blood sugar was so bad. And what really did it was one day after I told all my clients, I was like, you guys, I can't train anymore. Like I just can't. I can't even get out of bed. My head, I have a big head, but like I've always had a thick neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're vegan, your neck gets really small.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't even lift my head up to get out of bed. I had to like roll over and get up.
Just no energy, no strength.
No strength, and then I take martial arts. So when I would be in class, we're like training and stuff, and I'm like, why do I feel like I'm a frail shell of who I used to be? And I was always athletic. I played soccer and things like that, so I've always been athletic. Like I said, a thick build. I've never been small, so this was just like so new for me. And the only reason why I went with it is because, they're like, oh, you're just detoxing. Eventually you'll start to build back up. And I was waiting for that time to build back up, but it never happened. But anyway, I got up, mustered the energy to go wash my hair. Because at that time I was a loose natural and I just wore my hair like in the wash and goes,
Okay. Yeah.
Girl, I washed my hair, and when I used the conditioner, it felt like I've always had very thick hair. It felt like I had 3 strands of hair on my head.
Oh my God.
I just felt my skull. I was like,
what? Oh.
I call it my OG, my original guidance, my intuition. My OG was
Here you
like,
go. OG, yeah.
my OG was like, take a picture of the back of your head.
Oh,
like when it dries, take a picture. Girl, yeah. I'm going to post the pictures,
Okay.
I took a picture of the back of my head. It literally looked like somebody took a fist and snatched all my hair out my head.
Oh my God.
Not even lying.
Oh.
I was scared.
I'm hurt for you, sis. That would hurt my whole heart.
Girl, I literally saw that picture and I was like, oh, hell no. I was like, wait a minute. So wait a minute. What would cause my hair to fall out? And I'm like, okay, hair gets nutrients from the blood. So I'm like, okay, intestines. Your intestine, the villi, suck the nutrients from your intestines into the bloodstream. So maybe there's an absorption issue, So I'm like, okay, boom. I go to Google and I'm like, hair loss. And I'm like, no, that's not specific enough because it's too broad. I'm like, vegan hair loss, right? Girl, and remember when you said you never thought to look on the other side of veganism? Yo, me también. I went to that. Me too. I went to. I went to Google. I mean, I went to YouTube and typed in vegan hair loss and saw this girl talking about how she had to start taking B12. Now, mind you, I didn't take supplements because in the Black community, nobody really talks about supplements. Number one.
Right. Yeah.
And then number two, I always told myself if I needed to take supplements, I'm not gonna do this because that means it's not giving me everything I need.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
You have to do all of that.
Right. So she's like, yeah, I had to start taking B12 supplements and everything. And I'm like, I'm like, wait a minute, what? She's like, yeah, it's starting to grow back or whatever. It wasn't, but in her mind it was. And so, you know, so I look over to the side, the suggested videos, and girl, I saw ex-vegan and in bold letters, hair loss. So, Claro que sí, of course, I clicked on it and boom, it was just like this man was saying everything that I was going through and saying that it was veganism.
By any chance?
You say what now?
You remember his name by any chance?
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
His name is like Saban. She's like he's in some European country. I apologize. I'm like really messing up his name. No, it's like Syringe or something like that.
I could share it with everybody so I could, you know, do their own research and stuff.
Of course, I'll give you all the links.
Okay, cool.
So
cool.
So his name is like, so anyway, he's interviewing all of these vegans, all these ex-vegans. And I mean, I literally went through 20 people all saying the same thing and they didn't know each other, you know? So I'm like, wait a minute, we all having the same thing. And it just went boom, like, y'all. Then I started to look back over my case studies because when I was doing, when I was selling detoxes, what I would do was I would take at least 55 women and put them into a challenge, and I would have them eat a certain way. I would have them do certain things, literally like a whole case study. And I had the control group and I had the dependent variable, you know what I mean? And so I would put them through like these detoxes and these meal plans and see what happened. And I started to just recollect. And you know how something just sits right in your spirit? I was like, it's veganism. It's this. Yeah. I just knew it, you know?
And you know, like you said, like something just sits right with your spirit. Like I just told my brother, I was like, I just was craving fish. And he was like, I think you just wanted some fish. And I'm like, that could be it too. But it was like, no, it was like a bodily craving. It's like, no, that's what I need. And when I got it, it just felt right. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, like it felt right. Now, I did kind of go off the deep end and was just kind of, just had a little fun. But essentially, I knew what I was craving. In that first week, I had started, I was specifically craving salmon and tuna. Yeah. Specifically. Like, that's it. Nothing else. Nothing less. Just salmon and tuna. So I'm like, it must have been in the fatty. I don't know what's in salmon. Yeah. But, you know, it's like you said, just sits right there, you know? Yeah. It sat right with me. And I was just like, I'm over this shit. If it's taking my hair, I'm done. Like, okay. Here. I feel you. Right. So then I go to the fish market up the street from me, and I grab some cod. And you know, in my mind, I'm paranoid. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have dreams. Oh, by the dream. So I used to have, like, right before I stopped being vegan, I would have dreams about eating meat all the time. Wow. Okay. And I thought, oh, I'm just having like old memories. But no, my body was screaming at me like, girl, we about to die, sweetheart. You need to eat some meat. You know? Yeah. So this is how I know. This is how I know that I was really on the brink. Beyond all of the issues and symptoms that I gave. And it's a lot more. I just didn't want to like take so much time just describing it. But beyond all the symptoms, like every time I ate, I was hungry again within 30 minutes. My stomach would like have these spasms because all that fiber is just like, it's too much, you know? I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I'm gonna have dreams about the fish being in the sea and being caught and dying, you know, because they be saying all that, right? Yeah. So, pero mami, I ate that fish. I'm telling you, it was the best sleep I've ever had in my life. Okay. As soon as I ate it, like, and it was cod now, when I ate it,
I felt like, you ever get like a big gust of wind kind of blow you over a little bit when you're outside sometimes? That's what happened, but I was inside of the house.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like my spirit sat back down in my body.
Wow. Yeah.
And everybody says this that was vegan for a very long time and eat meat again. It felt like my spirit, boom,
Yeah.
literally. And then I slept like a baby that night. And that was the first time I had a very good sleep in years.
Mm.
You know, like that solid ass sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So then after that, I was just like, oh, this is it. I'm convinced. And then I had salmon. That's when I knew that omega-3s are real. As soon as I ate the salmon, I ate sockeye salmon. When I ate that salmon, my body started to twitch, like literally started to jump. Like my skin was jumping. My whole body was just like twitching. And then my brain felt like somebody was pouring olive oil on it.
You know,
And I was
like, you said, I could just tell it was like the oil. It's like it was just something I needed. Like,
yes,
you know, something. And I couldn't explain because I'm not a nutritionist or anything like that. So, like, I couldn't really explain it. But I'm like, it was specifically that it was making, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because your brain was like, okay.
And it was always right before my cycle. So it was like, I was kind of brushing it off as, you know, you just have cravings before your cycle. I'm like, it's just, I'm having serious cravings for fish. But you're about to lose blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need something. You need something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Replenish that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when I like, and I cried after I ate that salmon. I started crying because I was just like, I cried for several reasons. Number one, my dad had just passed.
Oh, wow.
So, and I was vegan when he passed, and I didn't get a chance to really have a good meal. Like I told you, my family Geechee, so like the men go out and hunt and they fish and they bring that back and we cook it up, and that's how we all get together, you know?
That's beautiful. Yeah.
You know, however, like I wasn't able to experience that with my dad before he passed.
That hurts. Like,
Yeah.
be a part of like your traditions. Like, I hate having to go to my grandma's house and I can't eat. Like, no, this isn't doing it. And it's, I feel you. That would hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and so I was just like, damn, you know, it just, and then I cried because I was like, damn, for 6 years, I was starving my body, literally starving my body, you know, and I was just like, damn, like nobody said nothing about how veganism is killing them. Nobody said nothing. Nobody came out and was like, hey, y'all, this ain't working. You know, like nobody said nothing. And I was just crying because then I was like, damn, now I got over 4,000 people that's been following me. And I have to go to them and say, hey, guys, remember when I said eat plants? Don't. Like, you know?
You know what I'm saying? That's a part of being a leader. You gotta, you know, try it out. If it don't work, let people know it ain't working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Going in the right, oh, it's messed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, so I commend you for that, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I messed up, you know, because, hey, you learn a lot from your mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me personally, I'm super happy I went vegan. I mean, I was only vegan for a year and a half, so I didn't experience too many problems. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really, but no serious problems, like I should say.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I learned, you know, just like different recipes and learned alternative ways. And you know what I'm saying? I wasn't really herbs like that. You know, I didn't know you could coconut cream to make creamy. Like, you know, I just didn't know certain.
Yeah.
I'm happy I at least had that experience. And so it's always good to just have trial and error, and then of course lead people back to where you think is best for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's real. And it's like, that's why I get so upset at, I don't want to say upset. I'm so disappointed in these people who promote themselves as leaders in the community, especially in the health community, in the health conscious community, because they make all these memes downing meat and all these things, but they'll take the credit for being like, oh, you know, when people say, oh, you helped me so much. But when myself and Miss Karen Boone started to do these ex-vegan interviews and started to get people and be like, hey, are y'all experiencing issues? We reached out to all of them. And you'd be surprised who was like, yeah, I experienced issues. I'm not vegan anymore. But yet they still push veganism to the masses.
They were probably afraid to even let people know, like, I'm messing up.
They just didn't want to stop their money.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
That's what it is.
One, it's a white girl, and I only bring race in it because I truly believe that we're different. You know. I think you're frozen. I don't know if that's me or you.
Oh no, you're good.
You're good?
I still see you. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. We back. So and I race because I truly believe that we're different. You know what I'm saying? Like white people are different at the end of the day. But I see like a lot of specifically white fruitarian and people who like juice and all that good stuff. They look sick. They look sick. Now black people don't look as sick. You know what I'm saying? They're not necessarily on the skin as much. They might be skinny. They might still look kind of fine, but when you look at it's just it's not.
Yeah.
It's like their teeth is yellow.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's just not.
And that's the reason why I went on such a tour basically of Black ex-vegans specifically, because it's so much harder. I don't know if it's the melanin keeping us together. I don't know what it is, but you just can't see it that well in us the way you can see it in our European counterparts. You just can't see it.
Yeah.
It takes more time. That's why they can be vegan for 20 years and be like, they look terrible, don't get me wrong, but like their body looks terrible, but their face and I still had like glowing skin when I was vegan.
Yeah, because it's always the skin that gets me. It's like, wow, your skin is you know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. So it was just that. And so like after that, I just I only get like, I go to a butcher that's halal meat, and I was doing that too because I used to feed my dog raw meat and stuff like that. So I go to butcher now to get like my meat because he has a farm, and I like the way he slaughters the animal, drains the blood, that type of thing.
Okay.
So I go pasture raised, grass fed as much as I can. Same for the chicken, pasture raised. I still eat eggs. Dairy, the only dairy I'll consume is like Greek yogurt, and that's generally around my cycle because my body just craves it. Like, it just craves it. So I'll do that around that time, but I still don't mess with dairy because I'm lactose intolerant. You know what I mean? So,
okay.
But the Greek yogurt I can do. So I'll have that sometimes, but for the most part, for a long time after being vegan, I couldn't even eat plants. They have to be very cooked or fermented in order for me to eat them, because my stomach, my stomach and my intestines, like my stomach acid got so high because we're supposed to have like a 2, so it's supposed to be very, very low and very acidic. But when you're only giving it plants, it becomes more like alkaline. You know what I mean? Like it messes up your pH.
Okay.
So you start to have indigestion and issues like that. And so I was having that, and I just couldn't eat, like, I just got to a point where I could eat like salads and stuff like that. And I've been not vegan for like a year and a half now.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm so against it because you have people feeding their babies a vegan diet, and babies cannot have that. Like, they literally need cholesterol. They literally need animal food, animal protein, aka breast milk. They need the nipple, and it's just like they're killing their children. You can go online and see people's children look so small. It makes you want to just be like, where's the police? Because facts, because you're like, these children are dying. This kid died. Like when Summer Walker put that post and she's feeding her child like coconut water, hemp seed, and that combination or whatever, the CMOS. Yeah. It's like, guys, even Dr. Sebi, I say that because for the CMOS, he didn't look healthy.
Yeah.
He looked super skinny and emaciated.
Yeah.
So it's just like, now that I actually can see and I don't have body dysmorphia and I don't have those issues, I'm looking back at old pictures of myself and other people that are vegan that I know, and I'm like, damn.
It's not looking right.
Like,
yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, and that I had to say it. Like you said, you know, a leader is able to admit their faults. I was just like, you know what? I don't really care if I lose everybody.
Right.
I have to tell people the truth. I don't care about the money because I don't get my money from IG. I mean, I get a lot of money from it, but however, it's not like my main thing. I do business credit, you know? I was just like, I gotta tell people this because I wouldn't be able to live with myself. I have integrity. I have character. Like I can't just, it's not for the money. And then that's when after I started to let people know I'm no longer vegan and started to, you know, go on this type of thing, that's when everybody starts to be like, oh, you know, so-and-so not vegan. Oh, you know, so-and-so not vegan. Oh, you know, so-and-so not vegan.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh no, it's just a business. Like these people are entrepreneurs.
Exactly. And they do it.
And we have to know that.
They know how to tap into your emotions. They know how to tap into your intellect or the lack thereof. And so they have a very good way of swaying in a way that they know that you're ignorant of. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
And nowadays with social media, you can picture any shape or form that you know what I'm saying? Follow. You know, especially if you make it sound good and make it you got a pretty little caption or something. You know what I'm saying? And like talking about people's skin glowing. If the skin glowing, people like look healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then people will be selling almost $200 supplements, and it's like there's no reason to do that.
There's no reason for that, you know. So I just you know, I really was like, man, I don't want to make this like everything. I don't want people to think I'm just about like, don't be vegan. However, at the same time, I'm just like, if you do it for a short amount of time, cool. But to do it like your whole life is the problem, you know? And then I see, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I was just, I'm going to say like, I personally feel like a year is cool.
Yeah.
Cool. 6 months is cool to cleanse your body, restart your body, and then put better stuff inside or create healthier lifestyle or eating routine or eating rhythm what you had before. So, like I said, like about going, know about cleansing and stuff like that. But how much do you need? You don't need to cleanse every week. Like it's unnecessary. You know, like some people turn into cleansaholics, and it's like, yo, like, why are you like? What do you have to? You don't have any more to cleanse right now. You know,
nada, nothing to cleanse.
Just like restart, refocus, and get into putting the proper nutrients inside of your body after you've actually cleansed your body. You know what I'm saying? That's a temporary thing, in my personal opinion. I'm not nutritionist. I'm not anything. You know,
you don't have to be. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about being human is that it shouldn't take a nutritionist nor a scientist for you to know what to eat. Your body is going to tell you what to eat. And I tell people all the time, like I said, I fish. I grew up doing these things. I grew up growing my own food. I grew up doing this stuff. There is no way. And then my homegirl, my best friend Karen Boone, she forages, you know. So it's like there is no way, because agriculture itself is new to human history. There is no way that we sustained civilizations foraging. There's no because you got to grow the food. Even the beans and stuff, you have to actually soak them for at least 48 to 72 hours. You're not supposed to just take beans and cook them because they are poisonous, especially black beans. They will kill you. And it's like people don't know that. People aren't soaking their beans. They aren't sprouting nothing. They aren't doing those steps. They're just eating stuff, you know. And I see you have the Nefertiti shirt on. To go on to that, like the Egyptians weren't even vegan. They literally drew ducks and fish on the walls and recipes for them. Like
most definitely.
But yet they'll tell you that they were vegan.
They'll tell you anything they know you're not gonna look up. You know what I
mean? That part.
Majority of people not about to fact check anything. So, you know, they not. And then they're not really gonna care about people who do fact check. So they're just gonna keep putting that out there. You know what I'm saying? And so cool that you hunt and fish and like where are you from? Like what part of the states are you from?
Oh, I'm in Georgia. I was born in Atlanta.
Okay, you're in Georgia. Okay, yeah.
I am, but my family is from what do you call it? Florida. So a lot of my family came up from Florida, you know, for originally from the Carolinas, and then obviously from Cuba from my mom's side. So, you know, it was like that everybody kind of like met up in Florida type of thing. And so we did that a lot because my family owned land and stuff like that. So we always grew our food and stuff like that, you know, and fish and hunt and stuff like that. So it's just like, even my brother, like he hunts deer and stuff like that. And it's just like, you don't get more spiritual. Like, people often think that life is just like,
There's two.
oh, yeah, but really life and death are on the same path. Like, they're not these extreme opposites. They're the same thing. And it's just like, you don't really understand life until you interface with death, really. And it's just like, when you have to take a life of something, there's an exchange there. You know, you give thanks for that. You're like, and what really blew me as far as like being vegan, what allowed me to start eating meat again, was that I was just like, you know what? I'm sitting here saying that, oh, animals, you know, animals are they're so sentient, and you know, they have all this feeling and stuff like that. And it's like, one of my teachers was online talking today, like, plants are sentient too. Just because they don't have a central nervous system doesn't mean that they don't feel, or that sentience is not feeling. It's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just like the same source. Like, for me, I subscribe to, there's only like one all knowing, like, all creator. Like, there's one creator, you know what I mean? And so I'm just like, that creator that's in the plants created the meat too. Like, it's all the same thing. You mean to tell me that, like, when I'm eating the plant, I'm not also eating the animal? Like, this is the same source of life.
Death is a part of nature. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a part of nature.
Yeah.
And you know, when people say don't eat death, eat life. Like, I was, like you said, like, you feed your dogs a raw. That's my friend. I have a friend who also feeds his dogs a raw diet, and I was doggy sitting, and I was feeding the dogs, and I'm like, they get life from death. So that complete entire thing, even though I understand that technically we're not carnivores, we're herbivores.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's still a contradiction, because there are some animals who get life from death. And, you know, that's just a cycle. That's just the natural cycle of life, you know? So
when we go, our body will be eaten by worms. And that's a thing that I used to be like, oh, the parasites, you know, and that whole thing. But really, it's like, when you think about it, what do you think eats you when you die?
right.
It's the worms inside of you. The way you live your life is what's going to allow them to, like, wake up and start to eat you, like, prematurely, you know, or, you know, you keep everything on its life cycle so that you are in a life cycle. And until it's time for you to get put wherever you're going to be, you don't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, you do it I went to Sierra Leone recently. And it's like, it's such a beautiful place right off the coast, the West Africa. It's just like, they don't, so there's this thing, like, Africans were vegan. They were never vegan. They think that being vegan means you're starving and you're poor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's what it means.
I can see that.
Yeah. And it's like, you can't just, you know, like, cherry pick what you like and what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the whole vegan thing is just a lot of people cherry picking things for money.
Yeah.
You know, cherry picking things for money. And it's really unfortunate, really. But it's just, like you said, the whole life cycle, the whole death and life cycle, we have to understand that, like, you don't get away from these things. You have to learn to understand life and accept it. When you look outside, life is eating itself every single day. Everything is eating everything, and that's just how it is, and we can't run from that, you know.
Yeah, no, that's serious. That's real. So you have a book, and it's called Vegan Trap.
Yes, the Vegan Trap.
Vegan Trap, and I know you kind of spoke briefly on that's basically what it's now, but how can people actually purchase?
Yeah, so you can go to the link in my bio and tap the big red button. As soon as you hit the link in the bio, it's the big red button. It's the first one. You can get it on sale for $9.97 right now. On Wednesday, it goes back up to like $14.97 or something like that. But you can get it on sale now for only $9.97. The Vegan Trap, Ex-Vegan Confessions. It is my journey as an ex-vegan. Talks about the behind the scenes of veganism as a business. Talks about the fake gurus eating meat. And it also is something for those who are ex-vegan, for them to be able to follow so they can begin to recover. You know, quality of meats that you can eat, different recipes, different things like that. You know, I just wanted people to be able to have something because, like I said, it's not actually, that's like there's another book called The Vegetarian Myth. And it kind of goes a little bit more into agriculture and things like that. But this is the first book of its kind that actually has other ex-vegan stories in it as well as myself, and like remedies and how and what we did to get on another level of our health and get our health back. So this is really like Black history in making, because this is the first book by a melanated person saying,
Yeah.
hey, don't do it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I also see that you have a book. And
Yeah.
you can explain that a little bit. And also, what's a typical day or typical week as far as diet is concerned?
Yes, ma'am. So the second book, Self-Care Regulations, it was actually my first book. It was the first book that it really was what saved my life, because I was writing that book to help other people like determine how to measure their health. Because again, with the detoxes, I realized that people will go on detoxes and juice fast and do all these things, but they haven't really found out what their normal is. And in science, you have to have a base normal for you to be able to tell if what you're implementing is actually going to help or if it's hurting you.
Okay.
So I realized that people don't know what time they should in the morning. They don't know like when they're eating every day. They don't know, women don't really know their cycle like that. They don't know the color of their blood. They don't know, you know what I mean? Like the breathing. They don't know certain things that is really necessary for you to know. And so I realized that as a trainer of over 7 years, that there were nine common factors that I would look for in health and that everybody else talks about in health as well. And so I put those 9 things into a book, and I gave people a measuring system for them to be able to find out what their normal is before they begin to do a detox, before they begin to do juice fast. Like, find out what your body is communicating to you so that you can determine whether something is good for you or not before you do it. And that's what that book is about. It's less about veganism and more about ultimate health. It literally is a practical guide for you to be your own scientist and find out your normal so that you don't have to depend on online gurus to tell you what to do. Your body can be that guru for you.
Yeah. A form of documentation for yourself to track.
And it goes along with your practicing, because one of my sisters, she's a midwife, De La Florida Midwifery, and she was just on here, Tiffany. She is amazing, and she was also one of the reasons why I was like, you know what, this book is so necessary, because I bring her in because she was one of the first people to be like, once my cycles went off, I went to her and I was like, what do I do? Like, you know, and she's like, well, what about this? What about this? Like, what about that? And asking me all these questions. And I'm like, well, you know what? This goes hand in hand with my book, because the self-care regulations, like when you document the self-care tool is a documenting system. And when you document that, you can use it with your practitioner, because what do your practitioner do when you go to them? They start asking you what? Questions.
Yeah.
When did you start noticing this?
Yeah.
When did this happen? You know what I'm saying? Do you believe in detoxing seasonally? I do believe in detoxing seasonally, as long as it's a season for you to do it, because in some countries, like in Sierra Leone, you got only a dry season and a rainy season. So one thing I learned when I was in Sierra Leone is that instead of doing a detox every 6 months, like oftentimes we do here, as far as like parasites, you want to do a parasite cleanse every 3 months, not every 6 months. You want to do it every 3 months. But as far as like detoxing, I would really only do that seasonally. There's really no point in you detoxing once a month or none of that. Yeah. It's too much.
I see people doing like extreme detoxing, and it's just like, what? Don't. There's nothing. I promise there's nothing left. Like, you know,
there's nothing left.
There's nothing.
You'll never get rid of all of it.
Yeah, like I just don't understand. And then, you know, the one thing I will say about just like the vegan community in general, it's so judgmental, and it's like, no matter what end of the spectrum you're on, you can be just a regular vegan. There's somebody judging you about vegan or regular vegan, whatever that is, plant-based, whatever is the difference between plant-based and vegan. I don't really know. Yeah. You know, then there's some vegans, they'll still drink alcohol, eating a piece of salmon. You know what I'm saying? Like they're
Yeah.
still smoking weed or smoking hookah, but they judging you for eating an egg. Like, you know,
Yeah.
for fake products that's not real meat. Like you might as well just eat an egg. Like just egg, not just egg. You might as well just eat an egg. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just always this judgment, which will make it hard for somebody to say, "Hey, this isn't working for me anymore," or
Mm-hmm.
"I was wrong," or maybe I don't want to be this anymore, because there is a lot of judgment, especially if you have like friends or your circle. Maybe you're
Yeah.
vegan and
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to let your friends down, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
he does like play a huge part. So I'm just so happy that you are stepping up and saying those things, that it's real and things that have actually happened to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I do want to say this before we wrap up too, because I like to be balanced, and so I would want to say that I did learn some things being vegan, and this is another reason why I wrote the book, because I realized that like I didn't need to be vegan to know these things, but nobody's talking about it like that. So let me do it. One thing I did learn was to source your food, get quality food. You know what I mean? Don't just go to the store and just buy stuff. Like, if you can, go to a fresh farmer's market. If you can, go to a butcher. If you can, go to like the little Hispanic markets, the Asian markets, the African markets, because they have better food, better quality, and better prices too. You don't have to go to Whole Foods. I never really went to Whole Foods.
Yeah, I'm not a Whole Foods girl.
You know?
But I know that, I will say originally I'm from Detroit. So when I go home, it is a lot harder to
Yeah.
for the average person. You can find places, it's just you really
Yeah.
search. But for
You
the
do.
person, depending on your environment plays a huge part in your experience.
Very much.
I think that Atlanta, it was just easy for me. But if I was back home in Detroit, it just wouldn't do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's unrealistic for everybody to even go vegan. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That's
But you're
true.
completely right about sourcing your products. Like, where are you getting it from? Like, I love going to the farmer's market.
Yeah.
I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, prices are better. Those cuts of meats are better. I don't really buy meat right now, so I don't really. But I know that they're better. You know what I'm saying? Than if I just go to Kroger or Walmart.
Yeah. No, facts.
Yeah.
Organ meat is actually the most nutritious meat you can eat. And it's like liver. And it's funny because it's like, this is the stuff, like really what healed me was just going back to what my elders taught me.
Okay.
Eating gizzards, eating liver. Like,
okay, that's what my grandma used to eat.
no, I'm telling you, you gotta cook it with like beef bacon so that you can get the flavor in there. But it's delicious. Like, I got a whole recipe for it. It's delicious though, but it is the most nutritional. Like, if anybody's suffering with anemia or any type of thing like that, this is you don't even have to take pills or nothing like that. Just eat it once a week and you'll be good, or even like once every 2 weeks and you'll be fine. But yeah, so I learned source your food. I also learned like I really shouldn't be eating that much milk products. And I used to eat ice cream like all the time. I think okay sometimes, but like I really shouldn't. And so veganism gave me alternatives to do that, which I really got. I make my coconut milk from scratch and I always have. So that really helped me to like be like, okay, I'll just use coconut milk instead of like regular milk. So it's like replacements of things that really helped me there,
Exactly. Somebody, time should you eat in the morning?
What time can you eat in the morning? So for women especially, I always recommend.
Oh, we love you too. I'm sorry, I was reading.
Oh, okay, I couldn't see that one, but
I did.
for women, I always recommend that like you eat within the first 2 hours of waking up, because that way you stabilize your blood sugar. Because if you don't stabilize your blood sugar, what will happen is your endocrine system will begin to go crazy, and that's how you start getting hormonal issues.
Okay.
And that starts to tax your adrenals too, which makes you obviously have kidney issues along the way and anxiety and stuff like that. So eat within the first 2 hours. But me personally, I think if you eat eggs, eat some eggs. If you like beef bacon, I don't really fuck with pork, so but if you do eat some good meat, I think the issue becomes when you mix the meat with the grains. So I try not to do that unless it's like rice or something like that.
Okay. And what kind of batter or?
So what kind of rice?
Yeah.
White rice.
White rice? Okay.
White rice. I know people are like, oh, wild rice, black rice. But you want to go with white rice because it's a lot easier to digest. It doesn't have that hull around it. And so that's the reason why I say white rice. It's a lot easier to digest.
Really? Okay. Okay.
which is why so many people in the East eat white rice.
I was
You know,
wondering that. I'm like, so how are the Asians help? Because they eat like, a lot of rice. You know what I'm saying? They eat a lot
yeah.
of vegetables too, and
Hmm.
I know they eat like a lot of fish and like seafood. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so, and I know this is about veganism. I know you do business credit. So,
Yes.
how can people get in contact with you about business credit and learn more information about credit?
Yeah. So for business credit, you can do one of two things. Number one, you can go to the link in my bio and hit the second button, and that'll help you with business credit. I have a 14-day business credit challenge where I'm helping everybody start building the first set of their business credit for the free 99 to get everybody at least within our community. Like, I'm really purposing for us to understand that personal credit is not like the grand ship. It's actually business credit, because you can build business credit on any business that you have. You don't have to just, you know what I mean? Oh, thank you. You can build business credit, so you can do that, or you can text me. You can text biz credit, BIZ credit, to 251-572-9892.
Okay.
That's 251-572-9892. 251-572-9892. And I'll send you the link to get started. Make sure you have all the requirements. And then you can also purchase the workbook. So business credit comes in 4 different tiers, and I teach you how to build the first one in that workbook. You can get it. It goes along with the challenge that we're going to be doing, just to get people financed and get more credit. And
And
yes,
that
that's it.
do you so as far as business credit, does your personal credit affect how you can go about your business credit?
Nope. That's the beautiful thing about it. You can have a 200. I don't even think that's possible, but you can have a 200 on a personal credit, and you can still build business credit, because the beautiful thing about business credit is that it's solely based on your business. It's only your business's ability to pay. You don't even have to have income on your business. You don't have to have no personal income. Your personal credit don't have to be good. You don't need to sign for nothing. You don't have to personal guarantee for nothing.
Okay.
You literally can build business credit out the mud with no type of nothing from your personal. The only thing you have to do is be credible, which I teach you how to do that for free if you text me at 251-572-9892. And oh, wait a minute, I erase 7. You have too many twos. It's 251-572-9892. Take that 2 out before that 9. But if you text me, I'll send you the link, and it's just 9 requirements. You make sure you have it, and it's just stuff like make sure you got a business address, make sure you have a business phone number, make sure you have your business registered, Black people, because we don't like to do that.
How people go. They just trying to get the money.
And I get it. I was that way too, so I try not to be like that. But at the same time, it'd be like, y'all, please register your business.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah, so I'm really about helping our people make sure that we can do that, because like I said, I have 4 businesses, and each one of them I'm building business credit with. You can't do that with personal credit. You can't, not legally, you can't build like 3 other personal credits. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you can with your business credit, and within 6 months, if you work with me, I can get you to where you can get over $150,000 in unsecured financing for your business, strictly on your business, nothing to do with your personal, straight out of your business. So
Okay. That is amazing. That is amazing. I am so happy I stumbled across your page. This was a conversation, because if I did not, I would have been wondering, like, damn, am I a bad person? Like,
yeah, no.
I would have felt so guilty,
Yeah.
And, the timing was just divine. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely divine. And keep doing your work. And if you don't mind me asking, I'm an astrologer. What's your sign?
I'm also an astrology girl.
I'll be so embarrassed because people be like, "Girl, you crazy." But
okay, yeah. So my big 3s. Thank you, mommy. My big 3 is I am a Cancer rising.
Okay.
And I am a Sun Capricorn and a Moon Capricorn, and I got like 7 planets in Capricorn. So.
Oh my God, girl. You are a busy person. You are a busy.
But I also have Aries at my 10th house, so that's why I come off so like fiery and like bow to
Yeah.
people. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. That explains a lot. Well, I know how to y'all don't be planning. If you're gonna put it out, you're gonna put it out right. You're gonna research first, you're gonna do your due diligence first. So I know how
you already know.
So I'm so happy to have spoken with you. Thank you so much for joining the live. And
thank you. What about you though?
I am a Sagittarius sun, and I am a Aries moon and Gemini rising. So
I knew you was a Gemini. I knew it. I knew it. I felt it in my soul. I was like,
I thought you were either Gemini or Virgo. I think it was just like the recent year, or I don't know, but I don't know. But
yeah. Well, my Mercury is at 0 degrees of Capricorn, so I have a high, like that Gemini kind of come off sometimes. Like,
yeah.
That's hilarious, but I knew it. I felt it. I was like, she gotta be a Gemini.
That is so funny because now I know that other people be sitting there like, "What's your sign?" Like, just
like,
I
was thinking that.
That's all. Like, I gotta ask because I can't go without asking.
Well,
I gotta ask.
It's because you know, the rising signs have a certain look, and two, it's because I was like, this is your first live, but you interview very well. So I was just like, that's communication, like off the bat, like she gotta be a Gemini. Like, cause she's sitting here going, answer these questions. I'm like, this your first time?
Girl, yeah. And you know, I know we're not supposed to be talking about astrology today, but astrology is so real, y'all. Like, it's so real, and people it's watered down because of horoscopes and apps and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Shit is real as hell, and it's how real it is. So. I'm like,
you can't run from the planets. I mean,
girl, I know you ain't playing. You're not playing about this information. So I really do appreciate it so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, I will be sure. Hopefully, I know how to save this live. But does it save automatically?
When you end it, it should give you an option to save.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's normally how it goes. But I want to say thank you for having me on. Thank you for reaching out to me. I was so stoked that you contacted me. Yeah, no, I mean, because I get messages like literally every day, all the time, of people being like, "Oh my God, I was vegan," but I'm thankful that you asked me to come to your platform and talk, because I'm purposing to get this out to as many people as I can. And, you know, sometimes it can be like a drop of water in a pool of, you know what I'm saying? Like nothingness, when you are the opposite of what everybody's doing, you know. And I went on your page. I was like, oh, okay. I saw all the vegan stuff. I was like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. I'm like,
oh, thank you.
Like, yeah, I'm like, looking. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a great live. Like, it's going to be excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, that's why, like you said, you went on my page and you saw the vegan stuff. And I was like, I had took like a 2-month break from social media. And I was just like, you know, what do I really want? And I wasn't planning on not being vegan anymore, but while I was taking a break, that was just something that came to me, you know. And then I was looking, I'm like, do I want to continue? Like you had said, some people just continue with their platform. I'm like, do I want to continue with a platform? And I'm not sure, you know what I'm saying? Especially when I was awakened to the fact that I didn't even do my due diligence, you know what I'm saying? I didn't do the proper research, and I'm kind of pushing it to people, and that's not cool. So, you know,
I respect you for that.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
I respect you for that, and I respect a lot of people because they don't have great integrity. So
yeah,
I respect you on that, for real.
Most definitely. So thank you again. I'll definitely be keeping in touch. I'll definitely be grabbing the book, and you have a great week.
You as well. And to all of your followers, make sure you guys are tuning into her. Make sure you hit her notification bar.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you want to learn how to build business credit, make sure that you hit that number, 251-572-9892. I'm really purposing to get our people on a different level, so that we can take advantage of all these opportunities. So
yes, thank you. How do you pronounce your name one more time?
Yeah, it's Jonnelle.
Jonnelle. Okay. All right, Jonnelle. Well, thank you.
All right.
You have a good night.
Wait, is your name, is it Dice or what is your name?
It's Dice.
Dice. Oh, okay, my bad. It's the Spanish. My bad. Okay.
Oh, it's the
it looked like Dice. I'm like, oh, she speaks Spanish.
Girl, no, my mom speaks Spanish. I don't know how she knows Spanish, but she be.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, wow.
I don't know. She be listening to salsa music, and then she be having a little like. She has like a little Spanish dictionary that she always with her.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, she's adorable. But we went to Puerto Rico and she was talking. Like, I didn't know you were fluent. Like, it was just crazy. But So yeah, that's why when you were speaking, I'm like, I know what you're saying, because my mom do that all the time. She's
Okay.
like, who we, you know, we black, we don't know. Well, you know what you are, but I don't know what I am, so maybe we are.
You will. You will. You will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, thank you so much.
Yes, mommy. Yes. You guys enjoy your day.
Thank you too.